Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to go to Texas once again. So this is another one of the beers that Anna gave me, so a big thank you to her for bringing these back to Sweden with her from Texas. So we're going to stick to her hometown of Houston this time, and we're having a beer from Karbach Brewing Company. This one is their Hopadillo IPA and it comes in at 6.6%. This one has a lot of good hops and nice malts in it, so I'm very much looking forward to having a try of this one. It should be really nice. But anyway, as is usual with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my future reviews that hopefully I can do from Karbach Brewing Company. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do subscribe to the channel. It all uses a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beers based on country, city or state. There's also the playlists of the beers from different countries that you can check out. Check out my whiskey and sake reviews as well as the other things on the channel too, and please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. Always interesting to hear from you guys, and your support for the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Karbach Brewing Company. So Karbach Brewing Company are based in Houston, Texas, and the company was founded back in 2011 by Chuck Robertson, Ken Goodman and Eric Warner. So Chuck and Ken actually have many years of experience in the drinks industry, having been the founders of the C.R. Goodman Distribution Company, which they actually sold in 2008, while Eric Warner is the former Flying Dog brewmaster, and he's a Weihenstephan trained brewer. Weihenstephan, of course, the oldest brewery in the world, and it's now part of the Technical University of Munich in Germany, so a very, very good brewing pedigree does Eric Warner have. So Eric actually left Flying Dog, and at the same time that Chuck and Ken were selling the distribution company, so there was negotiations going on, and they soon agreed that they would team up. But the brewery is named after its location on Karbach Street in Houston's Spring Branch district, and the street of course takes its name from the city in Germany. The Karbach in Germany is a small town of about 1,500 people in the Würzburg region in northwestern Bavaria. A very nice part of the country actually, Würzburg. And I've been to Würzburg before, a friend of mine studied there, but that northern Bavaria region and the Baden-Württemberg region is a very, very beautiful part of Germany and indeed the world as well. But these guys started off with only a small capacity of about 4,000 barrels of beer and 3 core beers, and they've expanded quite significantly since then. And in fact, in 2015 they completed a $15 million expansion project to the brew house, which now includes an on-site restaurant. So they've got a lot of different beers now, and they are kind of started to become one of the bigger breweries in Texas as far as I know. So really cool to find some of their beers and be able to try them for you here on the channel. Just to give you a list of some of the other beers that these guys have in their core range, which is called the Mainstay range. They have this one, the Hopadillo IPA, they have the Love Street Coast, the Weekend Warrior Pale Ale, Vice Versa, which is a wheat beer of course, the Sympathy for Lager, and the Rodeo Clown Double IPA. They've also got a few other ranges as well. They've got 4 seasonal beers, 5 speciality seasonals, the Research and Development series, the Bourbon Barrel Hellfire series, and the Fun series, which are the high ABV single batch brews. So there's a lot of beers you can try from this brewery. Check out the brewery website in the description below and you can have a look at those for yourself. But let's actually get on to the tasting of this beer itself now. So this one is a 6.6% IPA, like I said. It's got a lot of ingredients in it, this one. This one's hopped with German Magnum, Cascade Amarillo, Citra and Simcoe, which are all from America, and it's got East Kent Goldings in it as well. The malt base is 2-row pale, which is a lovely malt actually. They've got some medium crystal in there, dark crystal, Munich, and also some biscuit malts too. So there's a lot of ingredients in this beer, so it should give you a very nice blend of flavours, and it should be quite complex actually with all those ingredients. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork on this one before we open it up, if I can find my cursor. There we are. So as you can see, it's got this guy on the side on here, which is a kind of, it's almost like an alligator with a kind of, looks like he's got a hop flower on his back, which I'm sure is intended for the design, but really quite nicely designed can, this one. It says on the back there, this one is Ciudado. So he lurks in the shadows, waiting in hold anticipation. He's surprisingly bitter about something. Legend has it that he feasts on those with fresh hops coursing through their veins. This dry hopped Texas IPA has a flavour as defiant as the Hopadillo himself. It's packed with the bracing bitterness of hops from around the world that this creature craves. He's coming to get you. You've been warned. So yeah, it should be quite nice. You can see on the top there it says, brewed in Texas, please remain calm. So yeah, I guess this one's pretty cool, and you can see on the back of the can there the Karbach Brewing Company symbol. So really quite cool actually. 12 fluid ounces in this one, as I said in the last video. I have no idea how the fluid ounces work. To me it looks like it's a 330 milliliter can. So yeah, I'm guessing it's 330 millilitres, but we'll get it open and we'll get on it with the tasting. And once again, a big thank you to my friend Anna for bringing this beer back from America with her when she was home visiting her family. So yeah, get this guy out and into the glass. This one looks as if it's going to be a nice colour. There we are, we'll just let it settle a little bit and I'll put the other bit in just in a second, but you can smell some of the juicy fruits coming off this one. It smells absolutely lovely. So this guy is crystal clear, you can see that. This one is a nice almost coppery amber colour. There's a lot of little bubbles of carbonation just going up towards the bottom of that head there. The head itself is 2 fingers and it's almost a kind of creamy, slightly beigey colour. It looks really, really nice. All of those bubbles going up towards the bottom of that head there, it looks really, really cool. But crystal clear beer, like I said, and I think it's fair to say this one is a nice kind of a coppery amber colour. It looks really nice. We'll just stick the rest of this beer in before we actually have a look at the aroma, but I tell you something, you can smell the nice, I think it's the citra hop I'm getting actually. You can smell these really nice kind of juicy tropical fruits coming off this one, but it looks absolutely lovely. So let's have a look at the aroma on this beer then. So without sugaring the beer up, there's a nice little bit of orange coming out of this, I think. So yeah, there's a bit of, you can smell a little bit of the grapefruit in there, but for me it's got a good kind of, it's got a big juicy orangey citrus to this one. That'll be the Amarillo coming out, of course. If I sugar it up a little bit, if I just kind of disturb it a wee bit, you start to get more of the tropical juicy notes. When it's just laying on its own as well, you get some of these notes that you expect to the citra. Not quite watermelon, but maybe a little bit appley, you know, a little bit of apricots, mango sort of thing. You can get a little bit of that out of this beer, the more juicy tropical fruits, rather than the more oily ones like the passion fruit and things. But the Simcoe hop in this one should give you a little bit of passion fruit, and you can pick up a little bit of that when you sugar the beer up. There's a little bit of grapefruit in there as well, I would say, but really it's just a big tropical fruit bowl, but there's quite a bit of orange pushing its way out of this one. It's mainly a juicy, the aroma in this one really is kind of leaning towards the juicy fruit side of things. But you can pick up a little bit of floral, kind of grassy character from this one. There's a bit, you can pick up the bready malt as well. The malt base in this one smells really quite smooth. And a bit of the biscuit, you can get just a little bit, I don't know in America if you get them, but there's a sort of, we have a biscuit in Scotland called digestives, and it reminds me of the kind of oily sort of sweet smell that you get from digestive biscuits. You can pick up just a little bit of that graininess in there and some of the sweetness that you get from the Munich malt as well. The Munich malt's a very nice bready but also kind of biscuity sweet malt. It's really lovely. But you can definitely smell that in this one. This one's got a really nice and quite complex aroma. It's not too punchy, I would say, this aroma. It's more a juicy and kind of sweet malt that you're getting out of this one. There's a juicy fruit hoppy character and some of the nice sweet malt. So take a little bit of time and enjoy the aroma of this beer before you actually get stuck into it. It's always good to do that with beer, and it's all part of the experience. So do take a little bit of time to do that. As my nose adjusts to it as well, the beer's getting more and more floral, I would think. And all of these American hops that are in here, they have a good bit of floral character. The Amarillo, the Cascade, the citrus, and the Simcoe. And the Magnum, the German Magnum, will give you a lot of nice floral character as well. So yeah, just take a little bit of time and enjoy it, but for me it really is leaning towards the nice juicy fruity character. But let's have a try of this beer now. So this one is the Hopadillo IPA from Karbach Brewing Co in Houston, Texas. Slàinte. That's nice. The malt base on this one is really interesting actually. Yeah, the malt base on this one's quite different from any other American IPA I can think of that I've had. You can really get the biscuit off of this one. I think that's a nice addition to it. I always find if you do an IPA and it only has like pale malt in it, for example, it's just missing something that balances the hops. Some of the hoppy ones, if you get the right hop blend, they can be really good, but I always like my IPAs to have a little bit of a kind of caramelly thing going on. But this one has the biscuit instead, which is quite unusual. I don't think I've ever seen an IPA that has actual biscuit malt added to it. You sometimes get biscuity flavours, but this one has this specific type of malt added, and it works really well, to be honest. It's a really interesting addition. But the balance, the first thing you're going to notice about this beer is how well balanced it is. And I will be honest and say with it, you can pick up, if you know the Flying Dog beers, you can pick up a little bit of that feel in this one. It does have completely different flavours and things from the Flying Dogs that I've tried, but you do get a little bit of the feel, and of course brewers do have their styles and things, so you can pick up a little bit of that in this one. That is lovely. I'm getting a nice big floral aromatic character from this one that's kind of underpinning the beer. It's really nice. So to break down the flavours a little bit, in the middle of the palate the middle of your palate is kind of blanketed with this nice bready character. That will be coming from the Munich malts, of course, and a bit from the two-row. Two-row, of course, gives you this nice bready and caramelly character. As you go along, it starts to dry out a little bit, and you get just a little bit of an almost kind of grainy spice, just a wee bit of that, but then you've got a nice sweet caramel flavour in there, and you've got the biscuit just moving out towards the edge of the tongue. Of course, that's the biscuit malt, but the crystal will give you a little bit of that. The two-rows and the Munichs will give you a little bit of the kind of richer caramel flavours as well. But you've got a really interesting blend there. I'm finding right in the middle of the tongue you get a little bit of the graininess, and as you go further out you start to get more of the caramel and the biscuit flavours, which is really lovely, and then you've got that bready base just kind of underpinning it. But the hops are where the complexity in this beer really do start to show. It's really interesting that at the back corners of the palate I'm getting a kind of slightly darker floral character. As you come further forward it becomes a bit lighter and almost brighter, if you like. There's that nice big floral aromatic bitterness. I'm not getting so much in the way of pine resins from this one. For me, this one really is more of a kind of floral aromatic character coming out of this beer. It really is lovely. Yeah, around the front curve of the palate, for me it's a little bit lighter and grassy just around that front curve there, but when you go behind that front curve of the palate you'll get this little oily bubble, and that of course is where the nice fruity esters are coming out in this beer. So for me, you have got a bit of orange sweetness to this one. There's a little bit of grapefruit coming out in the aftertaste. The grapefruit of course will be from the Cascade in this one. The floral aromatic characters in this beer will be coming from the German Magnum mainly, but the other hops do have their own floral elements too. But for me, it does have a bit of a taste of that nice German noble hop on the sides of the palate. Maybe there's even a little bit of earthiness in the back corners of the palate, which will come from the English Goldings hops in this one. But the fruitiness is where the complexity in this beer is. Like I say, for me, there's a good bit of orangey citrus in there. That's the Amarillo coming out, of course. And I'm getting a bit of the passion fruit too, which will be from the Simcoe. And I think for me, a lot of these lighter, more juicy fruits that you get from the Citra are really coming out in this one. So I think there's a little bit of mango in there, maybe a kind of little bit of lychee or something like that too. Not quite watermelon, but you always get these kind of appley, peary. You can sometimes get lemon and lime esters. The Citra hop is very kind of diverse in its flavour depending on what you play it with, but you can definitely get these kind of lighter juicy esters that you expect of the Citra hop. And as you progress into the aftertaste, you get a little bit of grapefruit at the start when you just take the beer in. Then the more juicy fruits, the orangey citrus, these kind of Citra things that I'm talking about, and a little bit of the passion fruit from the Simcoe, you really feel that coming in. Then as you start to move further and further into the aftertaste, you can feel that more sour flavour from the grapefruit just pushing its way through. But there's a lot of complexity in the fruity side of this beer, which is really quite interesting. This is a really good beer, and I like the fact that this has the biscuit malts in it, because the malt base is just a little bit different than what I'm used to. You get all these different hop blends in America with the beers, but for me this one is unique because of the malt base in it. I really like the way that the biscuit malts come out in this beer. So this is a really good one, and if you're like me and you enjoy some of these biscuity malts, that kind of caramelly sweetness in your IPAs, then you will enjoy this one. It's really nicely done, and the flavours in this one, it's got a lot of ingredients, but all the flavours kind of blend together. There's nothing that is really pushed out of this beer because there's so many ingredients in it. So this one is, I think it's fair to say, in terms of the IPA, this one isn't quite as punchy, but it's more to do with how these flavours kind of blend together, and it does that, it covers that aspect very, very well. In terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I'd say mid-bodied, definitely. Carbonation is quite smooth. This isn't one of the crisper IPAs you're going to come across. It's got quite an oily mouthfeel to it, quite oily and wet, probably because of the amount of malt I would think that's in it, and there's a lot of fruity ester in there as well, like I said. So you've got a nice malty sweetness from this one. You do get a little bit of dryness from it as well. There's that sort of graininess to it as well. There's some nice juicy fruits, and also a good bit of the hoppy bitterness there. In the aftertaste, there's just a lingering sort of floral aromaticity of this one, a little bit of the earthiness too. So I think it's mainly the noble hops that are lingering in this one, along with the English Goldings in there, and the fruity juiciness is lovely as well. So if you like a kind of nice complex IPA that's not too punchy in one regard, then you will enjoy this. And if you're like me and enjoy a bit of caramel and sometimes biscuity malts, then you'll enjoy this one. For me, the unique point about this beer is those biscuity malts, but it's absolutely lovely, and I certainly wouldn't hesitate to drink this one again. So hopefully I can get out to Texas and try this beer on tap or something like that, and hopefully I can get a few more of the Karbach Brewing Company beers to review for you as well. And I'll need to go and visit Karbach the next time I'm in Germany as well, so that I can say I've been to quite a few places over there in Bavaria and stuff, but that area, as I say, is a really lovely part of Germany and of the world too. But I need to go back to America. I've not been there in about 7 years now, so hopefully I can get back over and spend some time there. But been really cool to try another beer from Texas, of course. As I say, these are my first Texas reviews that I'm doing, so do let me know some other Texas breweries to have a look at in the comment section below, and do let me know your own thoughts on this beer and the brewery as well. But thank you for watching my beer reviews. Like I say, if you enjoy a nice kind of complex IPA with a bit of sweetness to the malt base, then you are certainly going to enjoy this one. But until the next time, Slange just now, and I will catch you soon with more beer reviews. I do have a few more Texas beers that I'll be reviewing for you in the next couple of videos, so I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I will catch you very soon with those. Make sure you check out Karbach Brewing Company's Hopadillo IPA, really lovely, fruity and sweet malty IPA. I've really enjoyed this one, and I definitely will be having more of it if I can come across it. So until the next time, it's Slange just now, and I will catch you soon. Make sure you check out all the links in the description below, and I'll catch you soon with more Texas beer reviews. Slange just now.